Fishbaugher, and I'm going to do a quick demonstration of the level of effort necessary to make a simple change to our framework. What I have open here is the HERX application and a blank audit. And let's go to the cooling form for this audit, and let's imagine that we want to add a field here that says, do we want to enter an SEER? So we want another Boolean field like this one. And then another numeric input field that says, yes, we want to enter the SEER for this cooling system, and then do that. So here's my source code. The windows we have open here are the Sublime Text 2 source code editor. We have our command line, and we have the iOS simulator. So going to our source code editor, I've typed in a bunch of stuff and just commented it out. So here are our two fields that we want to add to our model. And it's all done with Ruby hashes and symbols. So here's the name of the field, the label as it appears on the form, the name of the numeric field for the SEER, a range check value, and its label. So not much change there. We go ahead and save that model file, just adding those two fields. Let's now go into our view file. We're in the Edit ERB under Cooling. And again, I've entered some stuff, and I just need to comment it back into the code here. What I've added is a div with a class that's going to be used in our JavaScript to control whether this field is conditionally displayed, along with our Boolean. And notice our context switches here out of HTML into Ruby, and our markup generator functions are here in red. So we're adding a Boolean field. We use this symbol to connect to the field in the model for this field, as well as the efficiency SEER. And that's the only change that we need to make in the view file. So let's jump over to our controller. We see the controller is very dried out. It just inherits from a base class, and there's no changes to the controller. Most of our changes are going to be in the business logic of the JavaScript. So here's the JavaScript for the existing form. For our new business logic, I need to define some new local variables. Again, this is just pretty straightforward jQuery mobile selectors using the classes of those controls that are have been added to the view. We need to query what the value of a Boolean selector is at the time we call the update display function. And the logic here is that we hide everything and then conditionally reveal things. So that's what these hide and disables do. And then we have a chunk of code that says if the Boolean is exactly equal to yes, then we're going to display those inputs. And one final piece is this tri-state change call that manages our custom tri-state Boolean, where we see question marks versus yes and no values. So we go ahead and save that file. We've got all of our edits done, and so we now come back to the command line. I've got the command line has two different tabs here. One tab is used for doing preparation. We have a rake script, custom rake script that does a build preparation across multiple applications. So in this case, I'm saying prepare for development the application named HERX, and I hit return. And it goes very quickly. What's happening here is all the code is moving. It's combining code from framework and the application HERX and sticking it into the build directory in preparation for an iOS build. So I go to the second tab, which is got a command open on that build sub HERX path, and now I can do my rake run iPhone. This is calling Xcode. It will prepare an IPA and automatically load that IPA to our iOS simulator. That takes a little bit of time, especially with the video capture going here. This takes longer than would normally happen. Typically, your change-to-change iteration time is on the order of 10 to 15 seconds. This is with a MacBook Pro that's a little bit dated. Faster desktops run this a little bit faster, but in the meantime, I'll go ahead and pause the recording while that finishes. So we are back, and the application has restarted and brought us back to our audit list. Since we have had a schema change, I need to throw away the local database, which I can do from the app itself. So I toss the local database and start a new audit. This is a blank audit to ensure that our cooling schema is now up to date with the 2 new fields we added. So now we can navigate to our cooling form, and we see that we've got our new value, a new Boolean that says, do you want to enter an SEER value for this cooling system? And if you click and say yes, you'll see that directly below it appears our Boolean field, or our text input field, numeric input field, which we can use to enter the value. We say done, save, and we're back, and it actually summarizes the values here. So to recap, we made a change to the model by just adding 2 new fields. We changed the view markup by adding just the markup for those 2 new fields. No changes to the controller, and then those JavaScript changes to control the form behavior. And that's it.